Alright, so today I'm going to show you how I cut my own hair. I have saved thousands of dollars over the past few years cutting my own hair. And it always turns out slightly differently. Sometimes I like it, sometimes I don't. But at least I'm going to show you how I do it. And I'm purposely going to cut it like extra short this time. It's going to be like a motivated first sergeant kind of cut. First thing I do, and this is my own technique. It's probably very different than a professional would do it, but hey, as long as you get a good end result. So I start with the longest setting, which on this is an 8, and I immediately go for the top. I just cut the top as short as I want it. And today, because I'm going with a motivated first sergeant cut, I'm gonna put the 7 on it. Go even shorter. Now, if you noticed, when I went to the front, I did not start here and go over like this, because I want the very front to be just like slightly longer than what's on top. So I like go at an angle like this. I start here and then I go zzz, right? Like this. That way the very front can be slightly longer, so you can sort of do that. All right, so now that I got all the top even, this is the really scary part, but it's also the most fun, like most satisfying, I guess. I work backwards, so instead of like doing the shortest first and then working my way out, I start with the longest and work my way in. Now the bad thing is you end up with like way more teeny tiny hairs because you're actually like going over a lot of the same hair multiple times. But today I'm not going to do that. Today I'm actually going to start with the 0 because I'm going with a different look. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. So I like to go at this line where the hair sort of naturally starts to curve in, and I go straight back. And if I'm going for this type of cut, I'm actually going to go higher, but I'll work my way up. I'm just going to go all the way around because I'm not trying to taper anymore. I want it nice and 0. All the way around. And I don't really care what it looks like in the back just yet, as long as I sort of angle it slightly down, because I can fix that. So it's heading slightly down, and I just go to this side and do the same thing. Start at exactly the same location, and I can actually measure the bottom of it is even with the top of my eyebrow. So that's where I'm going to start. I'm just going to go straight back with a very slight angle down. And again, I don't really care what it looks like in the very back just yet, because I can fix it. All right, now it's not perfectly even. That's fine. All that is fixable, because what I'm doing today is different. Now that I have a basic line, okay, I'm actually going to start a little higher. I'm going to do this again on this side, start a little bit higher this time. Now I'll just come up to that point all the way around. And since I made a great big runway this way, I'm not afraid of overshooting it if I just go up to it. All right, now that I have a basic line and it is even on both sides, I'm going to take this awesome little taper guard. I'm going to take this little taper guard with an R for right, and I'm going to make sure that the wide part is on top, and I'm going to go just to the point where my head starts to angle. So it's not straight up anymore, not the side, it's just like starts to taper in, which happens to be right where which puts the bottom of this right at that line. So it's perfect. This would be considered a high reg if you pay for it. It is a high reg. And then I actually come all the way around because I know as long as I keep the bottom of the guard even with the line, I'm not gonna like go too high. All right, now I'm just going back the other way. All right, now if you notice, it is significantly longer right here. There's like this long part that tufts out. So I'm gonna go with a 3. I'm gonna go with a 3 until I just barely hear the hair. Also, I know that the angle of my head, if I just go straight up, I don't hear it, and now I hear it. And then I just lift off the top of my head. And what this does is it allows me to catch all those extra little hairs that are sticking out. And it just like fades it a little bit into the top. Another technique that I've done is taking a hat, like a really small hat, and putting it on my head and making sure that it perfectly encircles my head, that it's symmetrically, and then I'll just go up to the line of that hat. First few times I did this, I got too scared about this very visible line, and I focused all my time on that instead of working it out after I've done all this work. So now I'm going to work my way back down, okay, because I want to fade that line out. So I'm going to get the 1, and then the half guard, which I had to buy separately. It didn't come in the kit, but it was worth it. So I've already gone to a 0 up to here. Now I'm going to get the 1 guard, and I think normally barbers would do this the other way around. They'd go 0 to half to 1 and then work their way up. I do it opposite because I'm actually listening for the clippers to hit the hair before I lift off. So I do half of it by sight, what I can see on the side, and then half of it by listening, and half of it just by feel, by memorizing the muscle motion up to a certain line, up to a certain level on my head. And that way I can look at this and I can hear it going bzz, 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 and then I can just work my way back until I'm in the very back, right here. Okay? And I go just past the middle, and then I do it on the other side. All right, so what I've noticed is I could actually come up a little bit more in the back. Now, does this take a little bit longer than going to the barber? Sure. And is it very possible that you'll completely screw this up? Yeah. What's the worst that can happen? You go get a barber to fix it? All right. So I've hit the one all the way around at a certain level. Now I still have this little line, so that's where the half guard comes in. Now I've got to hit this, and this is the money maker, and this is also the most difficult. There's always a possibility that the back is completely fucked up. All right, now I'm going to lengthen this all the way, and here's the really scary part. Just fading out this line as best I can. Just barely touching it. I think I might have messed it up on this side. Nah. Put the half guard in there. Oops, shorten this down first. Put the half guard on there. All right, now I'm almost done. So now I can see that some of this is like, so I'm gonna try, actually it looks pretty good. I'm gonna put this on the very lowest setting, and I'm just gonna go very carefully up to make sure that I don't miss any hairs around my ears or on my neck. You know what? For a homemade barracks cut, that's not too bad. All right, so I touched it up just a little bit more. It took like a couple more minutes, and you can see a very faint shadow right here, but that's really normal even from professional cuts. And like I said, I went with like a real high reg partly because it's really hot right now and my head's been really warm, and also because I think that because of the size and shape of my head, if I don't go all the way up to here, then my hair just makes my head look like a big mushroom. So this way, it's sort of, I can actually stay on a zero all the way up my head to the top of my forehead line. And that way you get this real high reg look. I might even go higher next time I cut it. I think I might actually bring the back up even higher, which will make it sort of a high and tight. We'll see.